Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar from Accurate Networks, from Tool to Teammate. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dorota Ulkowska. I'm the Director of Client Services. And with me is Luke Williamson, who is the President and, well, the founder of Accurate. And why we are here today is to do an webinar specifically focused on AI. But from a perspective of AI being more of a teammate than a tool that we use, we have heard from multiple clients that really the mindset approach to how we use AI is very different from anything else that we have done previously. And we wanted to focus within this webinar specifically on that in order for all of you to maximize the AI tools that you are using. So before we start, there is a Q&A little button up top within Teams. As you have questions, please put them in there. We are going to wait until the end of the presentation. It's not a long presentation. This webinar is 30 minutes, but we are going to wait until the end to answer your questions so you can percolate on what you want to ask. If we don't get to all of the questions, we will make sure to email the questions and answers to everybody together with the PowerPoint presentation as well. Also, following the presentation, if you do want to meet to chat about any of these topics, please contact your account manager or ourselves, but we'll review that at the end. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Luke and pass it over to him.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the intro, Dorota. And obviously, thank you, everybody, for taking 30 minutes out of your incredibly busy schedule to be with us this morning. I do want to say it's been an absolute privilege to have had the opportunity for almost 2 decades now to work with so many great businesses and to help them leverage technology to achieve more. And really, at the end of the day, that's what Accurate Networks is all about. So with that said, who's ready for perhaps yet another AI talk? I am not an AI expert. This may not be a great slide to start a presentation on AI, and many of you might be thinking right now, wait a second, why did I take 30 minutes out of my day to be here? Truth be told, and as full disclaimer, I am also not the most technical person in my company by a long stretch. In fact, I call my own help desk more often than I would like to admit. Basically, what I'm saying, though, is that I am like all of you, someone focused on the business and a manager and leader of people. And like most of you, I'm also someone trying to avoid hype and noise and just focus on real world concepts that I can use today to bring about efficiency and create actual tangible value, deliver better services to our clients, and eliminate repetitive and boring tasks. Much like all of you, I don't have time for hype, and I'm looking for real things to elevate myself and my team. So through that lens this morning, let's talk about AI for the real world and things that you can do today with tools that you likely already have at your disposal. We're going to do a bit of a sidebar here, though, just to kind of illuminate the dark side, if you will, of poor AI usage, or simply just getting caught up in the hype without any training or guardrails, before we hop into the good stuff and why we should be working differently. So I'm sure many of you have heard of the term AI work slop before. And even if you only kind of know what it is or what it might be called, you have most certainly seen or experienced it. Just spend a few hours, kind of scrolling through LinkedIn these days, unfortunately, and seeing just the endless drivel of clearly AI created content. Work slop is actually defined as AI generated content that masquerades as good work, but lacks the substance to meaningfully advance a given task. Harvard recently did a survey of over 1,000 employees. This is one of the largest studies recently completed, and over 40% said that they had actually received AI work slop in the past month. This is a little bit more of a grim statistic, but the same HBR survey, 95% of the firms that they surveyed that were actively deploying AI solutions, generative AI solutions, had actually seen no measurable bottom line to productivity. That is pretty disappointing and scary given the investment and the potential around these tools. So with that as a frame of kind of the dark side of where we could venture, let's jump into tools and ways, actionable ways and concepts so we don't fall into those horrible and grim statistics. So before we actually talk about any specific tools or tactics, and further to the actual name of this webinar today, let's address the necessary mindset shift that everyone needs to make. And if there is one thing today that I hope everybody leaves with, takes back and applies, it is the idea of thinking and treating AI as a junior teammate. The idea of thinking and treating AI as a junior teammate. This means AI, like a junior teammate on your team, is not a complete substitute for judgment, context, or collaboration. Human oversight, much like someone overseeing someone junior in a role, remains absolutely critical. So if you are the director and AI is your junior teammate, you can assume it'll need context, feedback, coaching, and asking them to ask the right questions, not just giving answers. This single mindset shift changes the way that you interact with any AI tool. It doesn't matter what it is. For today, we're going to be using Microsoft Copilot as our example testbed, but the principles here apply across all AI tools. Most of the time, poor AI output is not a technical issue. It is a people issue. And again, frame this as a director, junior teammate type dynamic. We need to train ourselves in the art of prompting to avoid this drift towards the dreaded AI work slop, creating useless content, hallucinations, and incomplete work. The moment you stop treating AI like a search engine or just a vending machine and start treating it like a junior teammate that you're training, everything changes. And this is really what we're focused on today, creating a group of people. It looks like we have 74 people here today who are going to know how to give AI the right instructions so that your work is cleaner, faster, and more useful. Let's get started. So, powerful tool time. We're getting into some exciting concepts. The first step is understanding the concept, the very powerful concept of a role-based master prompt. Every role in your organization should have a master prompt. This is the structured process required to introduce yourself to AI. Whether on the call today you're a lawyer, you're an office manager, HR, accountant, or you're the CEO of your company, you want to document everything. Your clients, your revenue, your targets, your KPIs, your projects, your products, your preferences, your tone and style. This is going to ensure that the responses from AI are 100% customized to you. So how do you do this, you may ask? You literally ask AI to interview you and build a master prompt. It knows exactly what that means, and it is that simple. As a bit of a bonus, again, looking at this through the Microsoft Copilot lens, if you are using the paid version of Copilot, since it's plumbed into your IT ecosystem, through the process of asking it to interview you, it's automatically going to pull in context from your organization, your job title, references to corporate structure, and other artifacts that might be contained in your emails, SharePoint, and it's going to weave those things in on top of the answers during the interview itself. It will essentially adjust and ask deeper questions specific to your company. So in the basic screenshot here, this was how I kind of started with Copilot. I simply asked it to interview me and create a master prompt as the CEO of my company. And it went through the process of asking me many, many questions. This is just a small truncated screenshot of the beginning of that, to really introduce myself to AI, ask those probing questions about me so that the future answers are tailored to exactly who I am. So this is the output of the interview, in my case, and it looks something like this. And obviously, again, it's a very truncated screenshot. The actual master prompt is about 4 pages in length after answering all the questions about me and filling in those blanks. The result is a context-filled document including information on your role, your preferred tone and style, and all the other inputs that are going to help AI provide tailored, useful, and context-rich answers versus very vague or generic responses. This is critical for every business looking to leverage AI tools. So now that you're done that process, you can simply ask Copilot, or again, insert your favorite AI tool here, to save that master prompt as a PDF. Every role in your organization should have a master prompt defined, and you should save them and organize them for later retrieval. Another huge benefit with developing these role-based master prompts is when and if you move between AI products, oftentimes you'll notice the biggest barrier is the lack of context. So if you were to spend all your time in ChatGPT and then suddenly move into Copilot, all the context and the memory of your previous chats and preferences don't necessarily exist. The answers suddenly seem shallow or disconnected, as this new model simply doesn't have all the information that was in the previous tool. So now, saving this as a PDF file, you can take your role-based master prompts, and as a first step with any other model, upload that PDF, allowing the AI to synthesize the information and begin giving you relevant tailored responses right away. Basically, now that the model has filled in all the blanks about you, it can more effectively help you do things like draft playbooks and SOPs, analyze your financials, and just generally effectively generate ideas and strategies that are aligned with your goals. It will basically know everything it needs to know as a baseline starting point to give you actionable and personalized answers. Next powerful tool time, we're going to talk about system prompts. So now that AI knows who you are, it's time to direct it, and that's where system prompts come in. You need to consider creating system prompts for each department. This, in my view and many other people's view, is the future of intellectual property. People in the future are going to pay a premium to buy companies not just because of their revenue, but because of the efficiency and automations brought about by these system prompts. System prompts are not normal chats. These are very detailed, very specific instructions telling AI exactly what we want to do. These can be powerful, and we see evidence of this with entire apps or websites being built. The concept is called vibe coding, where people are building apps and websites not through code, but just plain English. So here is how we start building system prompts within your organization. And as is the theme with a lot of these things, it's very simple. Number one, describe the desired output and constraints in detail in plain English. Number two, we're going to ask AI to write the exact system prompt that would produce what you described. Finally, we're going to save the output as a PDF file, just like we did when we were discussing master prompts. And you can then use these system prompts like stencils, pulling them out at any time you want it, and it will just do the thing you instructed it to do. As an example, we often get requests at Accurate. This is a little bit of a nerdy example, but follow me if you will. At Accurate, we get requests to adjust permissions to make security changes for our clients. I wanted to create a coach that would allow a technician in our company to submit a scenario and make sure that these requests follow what's called a least privilege model. This ensures the request from the client is actioned, but without being granted any additional access than what's actually required. Basically, what I want is to have a tier 2 experienced security technician sitting beside every single person on the front lines, offering this critical guidance on demand and avoid ever providing a customer more access than is actually required in the request. So I went through and I wrote a very detailed explanation of the output, the role and other necessary details. And I went ahead and asked Copilot to create me a system prompt fit for use. You can see the output in the screenshot on the right. As you can see, the system prompt goes far beyond a regular chat and is built out in actual workflow, constraints, role, tone, output, etc., to ensure thoroughness and consistency with every use. So you can see it all starts with just a plain English request to Copilot. Can you go ahead and write me a very detailed system prompt, giving it the role of basically a tier 2 Microsoft 365 security coach. I explained what the output was out of this and told it, go ahead and create me a system prompt. And it outputted a very detailed process oriented prompt, which can be used over and over and over again. A bit of a pivot from my potentially very nerdy IT lens example. Some examples that I've seen our existing customers use that are super cool and super effective. AI pre-qualifying inbound sales leads before a human even touches any of that. Then creating daily summaries formatted in a specific format that's easy to interpret. Low-hanging fruit, financial reviews. So a financial review that flags unusual variances that might be super, super difficult to spot just with the human eye, and then drafts explanations and summaries for executives. All of this it's all done automatically, and it's done in a standardized and defined format. AI that evaluates quotes, compares vendors, and highlights hidden or surprise costs with the instructions coded into the prompt to ensure the analysis aligns with specific business goals, not just generic responses. Legal pass reviewer. I'm seeing a lot of this with our customers. So AI reviewing contracts and flagging non-standard clauses. So not a replacement for a lawyer, of course, much to my first comment about, really treating AI as kind of that junior on your team that you are giving context to and providing oversight. But what a useful and effective tool to have a system prompt that is going to ingest contracts and spot non-standard clauses, unusual liability exposures, and just generally shine a spotlight on areas that may require more attention, and then output that review in a clean summary in a table format. Hopefully you're starting to see where this might apply within your own organization. So the next concept, and really the next step in this journey, is the concept of productizing your prompts. This is what the creation of agents and custom GPTs are all about. Essentially, what you're doing is you're packaging up these system prompts, sometimes in combination with a role-based master prompt, and you're sharing them with other people to use so that lots of people get the benefit, not just you. You can now spend time building powerful system prompts that complete defined tasks and then share them with individuals or deploy them to entire teams, creating a powerful way to increase productivity. Going back to my example of the accurate tier 2 security coach, after creating the system prompt, doing some testing, making a few small alterations, and really ensuring consistency, I wanted to deploy it and make it available to our entire frontline technical support team to use when needed. In Microsoft Copilot, you simply click Create an Agent. If you're in ChatGPT, you click Create a GPT. And as you can see in the screenshot here, I have basically just copy pasted the system prompt from my previous step right into my custom agent. I've given it a name and I've clicked share. This prompt will now be available for anyone in my organization that has Copilot open, and it's shared with them right away, and they can begin using it and putting in scenarios, and it will run those scenarios against that system prompt, giving them a standardized output. Think about the opportunities within each of your departments to create these powerful system prompts, which when crafted, tested, and deployed as a standardized job aid, can create massive value with your teams. This is another example of modern day intellectual property that is going to set your business apart. Not just what you're doing, not just your revenue and your EBITDA, but the total sum of your departmental and purpose-built system and master prompts that are saving time and generating value across your entire organization. Before we close, I want to give you 5 quick hitters as well that you can take home and use right away, just in your regular chats with AI. I think for a swath of folks on the call, this might be old or redundant information, but I would encourage you to share these concepts with your team. You would oftentimes be surprised at things that maybe you take for granted and you've been incorporating in your AI journey that other people just don't know about or are leveraging. Number 1, act as role. So first, it is super important to set the expertise or role of the response that you want. Act as an EOS coach, act as an interior designer, act as a Microsoft technical expert, act as an AI expert. These frames will ensure the answers you receive are through the right lens. Do deep research. So in Copilot, you simply click deep research and enter your chat. This will ensure all answers are verified, cross-referenced with citations. Think about starting with constraints first in your chats. Think about time, budget, timelines, tools. If every reply is based on anything as possible, it isn't going to be specific to my situation. So input constraints as part of the prompt to ensure these are contemplated as part of the answer from AI. This is probably my favorite one, devil's advocate. I use this all the time. AI tends to be way too nice, and this is going to force AI to take a contrarian view and expose potential issues or challenges in its reply. Format as. This allows you to dictate strict structure in the reply. Examples would be to output data in a numbered list or a bullet list. Put it in a table. If we have any software or programming people on the call today, you can request that it exports as a specific code language, so like VB script or Python, but really setting those parameters for the output. Very important. I hope that the gears are turning in your brains right now about how you can elevate your experience with AI and better leverage it so that you aren't part of that awful 95% statistic of firms that are not seeing any return on their time or their investments. I think with the right mindset and the right approach, AI isn't a chatbot, just a chatbot. It truly is a creative operating system for your business. A call to action before we move to Q&A. My friends, go back, and if you haven't already, create your role-based master prompt. Ask AI to interview you to build the necessary context so that it can begin delivering answers tailored 100% to you. Then go forth and spread the knowledge to everyone else who's using AI in your business so that they get better quality answers. And remember, the effectiveness and creation of these system and master prompts are becoming the new intellectual property. Thank you so much. I will turn it back to Dorota for Q&A.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So It looks like the attendees are a little shy with regards to asking questions, but I have one for you, Luke. And that is, again, something that I have heard other clients ask myself. And that is, all of this information is fantastic. And I'm pretty sure that there have been quite a few aha moments that individuals have had. But what happens to those individuals who will put together a master prompt, but then don't know how they can utilize AI with regards to actually improving their workflow? I know that some people simply have a mind block, like they don't even know where to start, right? So I recognize that it depends on the role that individuals have, but what would be some examples of some small areas that people could start playing around with in order to start utilizing AI to make their jobs a little bit easier? Could you give maybe some additional examples?
Absolutely. So first of all, I mean, if you think of AI in the work context as, say, you wanted to assume the role as a business coach. If you were to meet a business coach in the real world, you're going to sit down and the coach is going to ask you all sorts of questions about how your business operates and you and what's keeping you up at night and things like that. So it all starts with the idea of the role-based master prompt to provide AI the necessary context about you and your business. From there, if you're feeling stumped, as is the theme with a couple of our examples, I would ask AI. I would sit down and I would say, AI, I've given you a lot of information about my business. What are some areas of low-hanging fruit that I can think about in my company or industry? And it's going to unblock your thinking, and it's going to give you perhaps some cookie crumbs that you can start to follow if you think that it's relevant or productive for your company. So I think it all starts with context, but as I know you're tired of hearing me say around the office here when we're trying to come up with things, it's ask AI, or I don't know how to get AI to do this thing. Ask AI how to get AI to do the thing. So it's kind of training that muscle as well.
I love that. I love ask AI how I can utilize it to maximize my role. I love that.
Start with the context first.
Yes, started with the context. Another question: how often do you yourself use AI? Do you use it for all of your emails? What's the percentage that you would say you use it for in the day?
I use AI probably once every couple hours.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I, unabashedly use multiple models. So I use Copilot for pretty much everything work related because it knows so much about my organization because it's tied in with our SharePoint and Teams and all of our transcribed meetings. On the personal side, for kind of like personal coaching and ideation and some of the things I have going on outside of work, I've actually moved over to Gemini. I spend a ton of time in Gemini, and yeah, so I am using it all day for a broad spectrum of activities, work and not work related.
Okay, we have quite a few more questions coming in. I'll ask one more, and the remainder of the questions, keep them coming. We will answer them in a follow-up email. So the next question is from Alan. It's getting better, but I still find AI struggles with hallucinations at times. And when I've told it to act like an expert in this area, the hallucinations sometimes get worse, but it gets more confident in its hallucinations. Any tips?
I think we need to work on, there's another slide if we had a little bit more time that we could add, which is the preferences. And so in Copilot, you can click the little three dots, you can go settings, preferences, and I got some banger examples that I would be happy to send out of how to basically provide a permanent lens to AI to basically use as many compute cycles as it needs to do deep research. I want it to show its work. I want to understand how it arrived at these wacky answers so that I can reverse engineer how I might better prompt or ask those questions. There are a lot of constraints that you can put as kind of a universal default settings within your AI that help drastically. And I think that every AI model has its strengths. So if you're maybe more focused on code or engineering type, outputs, Anthropic and Claude is significantly ahead of the game from some of the other models, and you'll get much better responses. Whereas if you're looking for general ideation, workflows, SOPs, analyzing data, I would say Copilot and Gemini are very closely matched in the quality of output there. So yeah, I'd love to continue a sidebar on that and share some of those defaults that I could give you.
Thank you. Thank you, Luke. So again, we're copying all of these questions. We're going to answer them via mass email. We are also going to share this PowerPoint presentation with everybody as well. Please note a couple of things. If you have further questions, if you want to continue this conversation, reach out to your account manager, or you see Luke's email here. You have my email also in the invite, so you can definitely connect with me as well. We will be having a couple more webinars in the next few months focused on AI. One is, we're calling it meat and potatoes of AI. For those individuals who want the bare basics, we are going to cover that off. And we're going to have another webinar focused on creating agents specifically. So definitely stay in touch with us. We're going to have more content. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and all the best to you. Have a good day.
Thanks so much. Take care.